We usually do Fantasy NBA Today, Ethos After Dark. It's midday. It's in the light of day. It's 12:30-ish. It's Cam. It's Doc. He's the Hall of Famer, aka Dr. A. I'm the resident fantasy freak, and we've got you with some trade deadline stuff. We're going to look ahead to Friday night slate, and we're going to have a good time with all of you here midday. And hopefully you're like either working and listening to the pod here, or you're just straight playing hooky and listening and watching the pod. But let's have some fun and tell you about our awesome sponsor, Bet Online. The biggest betting weekend of the year is finally here. It means more updated odds and props for Super Sunday. Bet Online is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. We have hundreds of prop bets, MVP odds, exclusive in-game live betting. Bet Online is your ultimate game day companion. Whether you're a seasoned fan or a first-time bettor, it doesn't matter. Bet Online offers you everything and more to enhance your game day experience. So visit the website today and make the game day action count a little bit more. Bet Online, the game starts here. So I'm in for the great Aaron Brewski here on the Friday joint, the 12:30 jam that we do here on the Fantasy NBA Today on Fridays. So Doc, let's get into a little NBA trade deadline summary, okay? And I'll let you go, and then I'll go, and then let's compare notes here on our top 5 pickups, ranked 1 through 5. Who you got, Doc?
I did not rank mine, but I have my 5. My 5 that I like the best. I'm going with Buzelis of the Bulls, Ty Jerome of the Cavs, Nick Smith of the Hornets, Dalton Connect of the Hornets, and Zach Reese-Shea of the Hawks.
Ooh. I like the list, bro. I'm oohing because it's very different from mine. Okay, so that's Doc's list. I'll reiterate it here, and then I'll give you mine. I can tell you that we both have the same number one guy, and there's a lot of differences after that. Okay, Doc just gave you Matas Buzelis because, of course, it's about to be Matas season in Chicago. Kind of sort of already is. Ty Jerome, Nick Smith, Dalton Connect, and Zachary Sachet. Okay, good 5. I think they're all pretty tasty off that waiver wire. Okay, number 1 for me, I did rank mine. So I'll give them to you in order here, Doc. Write them down. I got Buzelis. I have Keon Johnson, second. I have Bub, a man named Bub. I'm not worried about the incredibly out of shape. I saw a picture on Twitter of Marcus Smart. I was like, dude, what happened? Did you stop working out, dude? Are you retired? Like, are you in the podcast space now? Like, what is up, dude? So I don't really think Marcus Smart is going to pinch a man named Bub. I've got Keyshawn George coming up at 4th. I really love Keyshawn George pickups for you right now. And then, Doc, I have a guy. I did more investigation into this young man after we got off the air, all right? And notice that he's very highly added and at the top of a lot of ad lists with Connect. Buzelis is quickly getting snatched off, but it is Carlo Matkovic. Okay, so number 1, Buzelis, number 2, Keon Johnson, number 3, Bub Carrington, number 4, Keyshawn George, and number 5, Matkovic of the New Orleans Pelicans, who started at the 3 the other night with Zion at the 4 and Misi at the 5. That's exciting, okay? And he's got small forward, power forward, center eligibility. That's also exciting. And he's got a Buzelis type of game with the combination of blocks and threes. You know that I'm totally geeked and obsessed with that. So, Doc, we have 8 different guys here. Buzelis is our number 1. I'm assuming he's your number 1. I don't know. But we both have Buzelis. And then I have Keon Johnson, Bub, George, Matkovic. You have Jerome Smith, Connect, and Reese-Shea. Pretty crazy that our lists are that different, dude.
A little bit. I mean, I've got Bub written down to talk about later, and all those guys, with the exception of Matkovic, were on my list. But I had to narrow it down to just my 5 favorites. Bub didn't make the cut, but you know that's the thing about this. And I'm glad our lists are so different because it gives people 10 guys to 8 guys to go look at instead of 5. But yeah, there's a long list of people who won on Thursday's trade deadline and the previous days. But to narrow it down to 5, it becomes pretty subjective. We don't know what Chris Middleton's going to do in Washington. There's a lot of things we don't know. We don't know how Wiggins is going to fit in with his new team. We don't know what's going to happen in Toronto with Brandon Ingram. Are we going to see him play every day? So there's a lot of moving parts here.
Let me ask you a question, random. It's not the rundown here. If I jam you up and you melt down, we can move on. Give me Friday, Saturday, Sunday. There's 3 games on Sunday, Super Sunday, right? Give me the box score that you are most excited to see, okay? In terms of these questions that we have, right? Who's going to be starting and coming off the bench? Whose minutes are going to get pinched and blah, blah, blah. I'll give you mine, and I'll give you a second to think, because I'm hitting Doc with this on the spot.
Are you talking about Sunday's games?
Well, no. Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Just like a team that you're completely fascinated about how they look after the deadline, right? How they reorchestrate the thing and all that kind of stuff. I'll give you mine.
Yes.
It's the New Orleans Pelicans, Doc, because I want to see Makovich. If Makovich, he played 30 minutes the other night too. If Makovich starts again at the 3, okay, and it's Misi starting at the 5, getting 25 minutes. Olynyk coming off behind him, getting 23 minutes. Zion is playing, getting 33 minutes or whatever like that. Makovich is going to shoot off of waivers because look at his game log, guys. The last 3 games have been pretty tasty from him, okay? And the game that he had, what was it, Doc, Wednesday night or whatever, was a really tasty stat line. David Griffin does not F around, okay? If David Griffin likes you and handpicks you, you are a baller, okay? Herb Jones, anybody? Herb Jones was a 2nd-round pick, Doc. Nobody wanted Herb Jones. Griffin did. Boom. Look at him now, okay? Jose Alvarado. Nobody wanted him. David Griffin did. This guy's a genius. So Makovich can play. That's how much trust I have in David Griffin. So, and like Javonte Green, Jose Alvarado, does Willie Green come to his senses and start Jose like he should? So give me the box score that you're most intrigued to watch over the weekend.
I didn't prepare for this. I'm going to say the Hornets and the Wizards.
Nice.
I want to see what the Wizards are going to do. And I'm sure that was probably number 2 on your list since you've got Keyshawn and Bub on your list.
I didn't make a list of it. I just, off the top of my head, just a random question. But you got Charlotte and Washington. I agree.
Charlotte and Washington.
The Diabate Nurkic thing.
You got Diabate Nurkic. You got LaMelo Ball and Nick Smith and Dalton Connect in Charlotte. Yes, please. I'm super excited about Dalton Connect being in Charlotte, where they should just let him be Dalton Connect and do whatever he wants, right?
Totally.
So I think that's going to be super fun. And there's so many questions with the Wizards. I want to see what they do. I want to see if Keyshawn Johnson is suddenly the man, because he might be.
Doc, that our show is very, very different from, say, NBA Today on ESPN, right? They are not, the day after the deadline, they're not talking about excitement to watch the Hornets and the Wizards and their next box score. That's what you get over here from your boys.
None of them know who Matkovich is.
Literally, they don't even know who he is. Literally. Malika Andrews, because she probably does, right? She's probably very studious as a host. You got to know the whole league and all that kind of stuff. Kendrick Perkins and Richard Jefferson don't need to know who the heck Matkovich is. You know what I mean? On a terrible Pelicans team. And if he starts having a bunch of good games and like viral dunks, then they'll know about him. But anyway, I just wanted to point out that kind of funny difference right there. All right, one more time. Doc's top 5 pickups: Buzelis, Jerome, Nick Smith, Connect, Risache, mine, Buzelis, Keon Johnson, Bub Carrington, Keyshawn George, and Matkovich. All right, Doc, let's move on here. Just quickly, why didn't I go Diabate or Nurkic? Because of both of them. Why didn't I go Connect or Nick Smith? Because of both of them. And because LaMelo Ball is questionable for tonight's game. I guess he might return. All right, Doc, let's get into 3 drops here. I came up with 2 lists. I got a little ambitious with this. I did a recent pickup that we need to drop list. And I also did a Yahoo rostered percentage based list where I just think guys' percentage is way too high and they need to go to waivers. So I'll give you my my first list here, and then you go with 3, and then I'll hit you with my other list. My recent pickup drop list is Jackson Hayes, Jalen Smith with Vooch staying, obviously, Hayes with the Mark Williams move, and Stephon Castle with Chris Paul starting over him. So give me your list of 3 drops here, Doc.
My list is Chris Middleton, Stephon Castle, and Jackson Hayes, with a asterisk next to Austin Reeves. I'm not dropping Austin Reeves, right? He's still going to have fantasy value. But him getting Luka added to that mix, along with LeBron James, both of those dudes, like, I don't even know how those guys are going to coexist, needing the ball in their hands so much. And then you add the fact that Austin Reeves is basically a point guard at heart. He may just become a designated 3-point shooter.
There's a value hit coming for sure for Austin Reeves, Doc, no doubt. I mean, I like your list. We agree on 2 of the guys. You've got Middleton. In a 10-team league, I agree. In a 12-team league, I agree. Middleton's a waiver wire guy. I'm stubbornly holding him in the Cam Dynasty. I still like Middleton's game. I still think he can be a goodie guy when he gets the minutes. I doubt that's going to happen with Washington. I may end up sending him to waivers in the Cam Dynasty, but I'm hanging in there for now. But he's hanging by a thread, yo. And if you're in a regular size league, I agree with Doc. He's a waiver wire guy. So we have 2 of the same guys with that.
You want to hear something? You want to hear something funny, Rick?
Yeah.
I wrote a risers and fallers column, my Friday column for ESPN today. Matas Buzelis is rostered in 8% of ESPN leagues. 8.
That's crazy.
Chris Middleton is rostered in 52%. And what that tells me is Chris Middleton, his name recognition is so much so that people just think they need to have Chris Middleton on their team, but you don't. He's not good anymore. And now he's in Washington, and he behind LaMelo Ball, I would think Chris Middleton is one of the biggest shutdown candidates out there, because he's playing on 2, ankles made of Pringles, and he's fragile, and he's probably depressed that he's gone from a championship contender to a when are we going to Cancun situation. I just don't like the way things are going for Middleton, but it's just wild to me that even with everything going on, 52% to 8%, and I'd rather have Buzelis by a million miles. It's crazy.
It speaks to a lot of people really sleeping on their teams, dude. And maybe their team sucks. They've already moved on to fantasy baseball, or they're just giving up on their teams. And all of that sucks. You got to be a more hardcore owner than that. Guys, if you're watching us live, come hang out with us on YouTube. Drop your questions, okay? And we'll try to get to some, as many as we can at the end of the show. Support us by hitting the thumbs up button. We would really appreciate that. All right, Doc. Here's my list of top 3 drops based on Yahoo roster percentage. Number 1, Tyus Jones, okay, and his triple single. It's not even a Draymond triple single. It's not even an Elfrid Payton triple single.
It's Eric Snow.
It's awful. It's unbelievable. It is Eric Snow. Great call, dude. Great call. 68% rostered in Yahoo leagues. Are you kidding me? Like, way more than like Jaden McDaniels, like a must add right now, right? Like Jaden McDaniels, we don't even really talk about him anymore because like if he's still on waivers, your league is just kind of weird. And I'll leave it at that. Number 2 on this list, Doc, is Dennis Schroeder. 46% of people are still hanging in there with Dennis Schroeder. For the love of God, why? Now he's the backup point guard in Detroit. He'll play 17 to 20. If he's got a hot hand, maybe he'll get 25 minutes one night. But waiver wire, guys, cut him. And then D'Angelo Russell, Doc, 87% rostered for D'Angelo Russell. What? Look at the game log, people. I mean, there's some stats there. It's not the worst stat. It's like 11 with 4 assists and about a steal and like 1 point something threes. Like, there's a pulse. but that's a waiver wire line, guys, in a 10-team league, in a 12-team league. And so, Doc, that's over all Yahoo leagues, 87% for deload. Does that surprise you?
A little bit. I mean, I think I've still got him in one league, but it's like a super deep league. Like I look at the waiver wire and there's like nothing there. Although I need to go see if Matkovich is there, because that is Matkovich is a guy that if you're in a competitive league, like what's his ownership in Yahoo, Rick? Do you know?
Dude, it's like 2%. Let me look it up.
Okay.
It's super
low.
super minimal.
Yeah.
I'll look it up while you talk. It's really small.
Well, and that was the thing about my list. I tried to go with guys that had relatively low rostership. And Nick Smith is funny to me because I dropped him yesterday to pick up Jalen Smith, and then Vucevic never got traded. So now Jalen Smith is worthless. I can't get Nick Smith back yet. And Rick, I think you mentioned it yesterday on the trade show. You know, Nick Smith's not a point guard, but if LaMelo is shut down or misses time, Nick Smith might have to be a point guard because they got rid of Micic. So I think there's a big opportunity for Connect and Nick Smith to play out there together in the backcourt and put up big minutes. I think Smith has scored 23 and 24 points in his last 2 games. Good. Andre just pointed out that the Hornets just added Elfrid Payton. Doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't help Nick Smith's cause, but I don't know that it's the end of the world.
I actually, I'm in a 20-team league. I picked up Elfrid Payton. I'm in another 20-team league, the Ethos League, and I picked up I think I picked up Elfrid Payton in the Ethos League. Elfrid Payton's a fantastic fantasy player when he gets minutes. Didn't he have a triple-double earlier this year? So I picked him up like in these gigantic deep leagues. What's that?
He had one huge game with a triple-double, and then he didn't do one other thing this whole year. So I'm not
the guy. He's a goody guy when he plays. I mean, he's a really good PRA guy. Not a 3 guy at all. But yeah, I picked up Elfrid Payton. It's a 10-day contract. So I think they're bridging the gap to LaMelo coming back with the Elfrid Payton signing here. KJ Simpson's the only other point guard, like true point guard on the roster. Charles Lee may have bigger plans for Elfrid Payton, but again, I picked him up in a couple 20-team leagues on a complete dice roll. Hail Mary. I have no idea what I'm going to get out of it. All right, Doc. So that is the drop.
Matkovic
go ahead.
is up. Matkovic is up to 6% rostered in Yahoo, and he is already rostered in the league I wanted to go pick him up in by Cece, who is a fan of this show and watches it all the time. She may have just picked him up within the last 5 minutes, for all I know.
You should check that out. That's funny. Matkovic is up 5% from last week. So he was at 1%. Now he's up to 6%. Andre Lemouche says he dropped Keon Ellis for Peyton in a league. Well, I probably shouldn't have said that on the podcast then, Andre. Wow, Andre Lemouche has a little vibe on Elfrid Payton if he dropped Keon Ellis for him. What does Andre know that we don't? All right. Are you ready to move on, Doc, to 2 players to watch closely here and monitor as we move forward? You ready for that bit?
Sure.
All right. So, all right, you go first on this one, man. I got a kind of a funky list. Give me your guys.
Bub Carrington, Brandon Pajemski, who's suddenly back in the mix for Golden State, and then Corey Kispert, another Washington silly season superhero possibility.
I like that you gave me 3 because my list can't be contained by 2 either. Bub, Poge, Kispert. Poge had, 9, 8, and 8 or something like that last night. He had like the ultimate Draymond triple-double, triple single. And I don't know, Steve Kerr's got me all messed up in the head on Pajemski, especially with Jimmy Butler coming in there. I think the goodies aren't going to be great, but I could be wrong. So number 1 for me, and I, kind of already said it, the number 1 box score that I'm anticipating over the weekend is New Orleans. I want to see how Messi and Olynyk split the 5 spot. I want to know if Matkovic is green lit, like, dude, he's the 3, good to go. He's going to be the hottest pickup in fantasy hoops if that's the case. The hottest fantasy pickup. You might as well go get him now because I'm anticipating that he is going to start and play 30 minutes again and do all of the stuff that we're foretelling. Okay, go get him now. And you can brag it to your league and say, ha 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 ha, I picked up a league winner when he was at 6% rostered. Okay, go get him. Be early. Kevin Porter Jr., Doc. I am very curious to see what he does in Milwaukee. They have been desperate for guard depth, and Gary Trent Jr. hasn't been very good. Taurean Prince hasn't been very good. AJ Green is only good at home. They need a guy that's going to do a multitude of things. And if he gets 25 minutes, Kevin Porter Jr. is going to be picked up off the waiver wire because he's going to go 12, 5, and 5 with a steal and a 3.5, right? He's going to have a pretty good little stat line going. He's a really good PRA guy when he's cooking. Karis LeVert, Doc, I want to see how the Karis LeVert thing looks in Atlanta. They're not just going to power down the operation. They're going to move forward with what they have and try to win after the teardown, right? It's not going to work, but that's what they're going to try to do. So I want to see if like LeVert turns into a 30-minute player, at which point he's going to be like 16, 5 and 5 with a steal and 2 threes, right? He'll be good. And then like you, Chris Middleton. I mean, you had him on your drop list, but just for that's why I came up with 4 here. Middleton's kind of the extra guy, just personally for me in the Cam Dynasty. It's not, just like, I got to be honest with you, Doc. I hope that I can just shelve him the rest of the year on the IR spot, right? And he's just like out with an ankle or whatever, because Keyshawn George, I'm like heavily invested in him now. So in a lot of other leagues. So I don't want Chris Middleton buzz killing that. So I would rather Chris Middleton just be curbed and just be in that injury slot the rest of the year.
Okay. Me too. I was out on Chris Middleton coming in the season. I'm out on him now. I really don't like him in Washington. They got to let the kids play, man. You know what I'm saying? And Keyshawn George and Bub and this youth movement could mean that Corey Kispert does not have a silly season this year. I don't know if he's going to or not. And then Podziemski, like you said, man, Steve Kerr.
It's your boy.
Does he like Podziemski now? Because
loved
it
him
seems
last
like
year.
it. But who knows? He'll change his mind next week. So
he will. I'm curious to see if Buddy Hield's going to stay in the starting lineup. I'm in a battle with Ken Kreitz in the Cam Dynasty this week, and it's going to come down to 3 balls. Last I checked, we were tied or within 1 or 2 of each other. So I picked up Buddy Hield, right? He's been good for me, Doc. 4 threes in the last 2 games in each of those games. And it was just like, let's see if Buddy Hield can get me some threes, right? Not a lot of science put to it. I know he's a 3-point shooter, and I was hoping for some decent games, and I've gotten that. Now the next game will probably have 3 points on 1 of 9. That's the way it's been going. All right, Doc, let's move on here to 3 rest of season game changers. It is Cam, it is Doc, it is the Fantasy NBA today. I'm in for Brew today, and we are summing up the trade deadline from a fantasy perspective. Doc, 3 rest of season game changers. Players people should be rostering or trading for who could blow up and help win leagues out there. Give me your list, bro.
I got my list mixed up, bro. So the last question that you asked me was supposed to be Wiggins and RJ Barrett.
Totally confused right now.
My future list of 3 is the list I gave you before. It's Corey Kispert, Bub, and Pods. Like, I feel like Kispert, Bub, and Pods. Kispert, Bub, and Pods is the answer to the question you just asked.
Oh, why? I guess I'm getting confused here, Doc. I apologize.
I got my list mixed up. I gave you the wrong list the first time.
Okay. Hey man, it's all good. Okay, so Bub, Poj, and Kispert, you've got is 3 rest of season. Your 3 rest of season game changers. Those are the guys. Okay.
Yes.
Doc, I want to sit on Kispert for a minute. I believe that Corey as long as Brogdon, Smart, and Middleton aren't a part of this party, I believe that Corey Kispert is going to get his 25 to 28 minutes and go between 15 and 20 points and hit around 3 threes a game. The problem with Kispert, and you know this, he does nothing else. He doesn't read, he doesn't assist, he doesn't block steal. he is a points and 3 guy. So, but I think he's going to be pretty good for those categories. So my rest of season game changers, Doc, are honestly, are these guys trade deadline related? They're not really trade deadline related. But this is how I attacked it, right? I think these guys are going to be the rest of season game changers. Beyond some of the guys we talked about, the Bazelises, the Keon Johnsons, Bub, Keyshawn George, Makovich on my top 5 pickup list. I think those guys are going to be rest of season game changers. But I guess it more at the top of the list, more chalky. Number 1, Doc, is Trey Murphy. Okay, right now statistically, he's hanging out with Nikola Jokic and Victor Wembanyama. Right, he's like number 1 over the last week in fantasy, or 2 or 3 in basketball monster rating. He's that elite right now, and he has been still cooking with Zion Williamson. Once upon a time, when Zion Williamson came back, Trey Murphy kind of took a back seat. The numbers dipped. And that's not the case. There's like a whole Trey Murphy movement going on in New Orleans, and he's making it pretty freaking clear that he's the best player on the team. Zion has never, ever, ever, ever even approached a statistical stretch like Trey Murphy is on right now. That's Zion and Ingram. Never even approached it, okay? Number 2, Doc, is Jaden McDaniels. And then number 3 is Naz Reid. And I'll make these guys a package deal. Julius Randle is out indefinitely, dude. That's not good. Isn't it a groin? Andre, help me out. I got a lot of details in my. Is it groin?
Yeah.
It's groin. That's very, very, very concerning, Doc. Groin injuries linger. They're hard to recover from. You're prone to re-injury when you come back. So I really think Julius Randle's going to miss a bunch of time. Okay. In Minnesota, Doc, what are they thinking about? June. They're thinking about long haul. They're not rushing him back. So I think down the stretch here, and then at least at the beginning of the fantasy playoffs, maybe like the quarterfinals, the semifinals, I don't think Randall's going to be in there, bro. And Naz Reid and Jaden McDaniels are going to be killing it. Let me go to Basketball Monster and look at where they are over the last week, okay? Because both of these guys are absolutely killing it and spiking here, especially over the last week. All right, it's got me resetting here. Past week. All right, let's see where these Minnesota guys are. Doc, Anthony Edwards is in the first round here. And where are Naz Reid and McDaniels? Why aren't these guys higher? McDaniels here, he's 41st over the last week, 17-9 with 3 assists, 1-1-1 in the fantasy gold. I can't see Naz Reid here, Doc, but Naz Reid's numbers, as we've talked about, have been absolutely fantastic. So I'll just leave it at that. Y'all know what's going on. But those guys to me are going to be rest of season game changers. And then I got one more honorable mention guy. His name is Zach Edey, Doc. He's turning into kind of a low-key double-double machine, dude. Kind of a low-key double-double machine, bro. Look at the game log, man. Zach Edey, bro, he's surging right now. Don't give up on him for Rookie of the Year. He still might do this. Rookie of the Year, by the way, is a coin flip, bro. I thought Castle was going to run away with it, playoff push with San Antonio, and Mitch Johnson and Chris Paul had other ideas on that. That popped a bubble on Stephon Castle winning Rook.
And Dalton Connect may be back in the hunt now. If he does what I think he might do in Charlotte, he could get back in the game. We took a different approach on those 3 guys to watch down the stretch, 3 game changers, because I think my 3 are mostly available in some leagues, and your 3 should be rostered everywhere. And then we didn't talk about my 2 guys I'm watching. I'm going to go backwards because I used the wrong list. No wonder there were 3 guys on it. But Andrew Wiggins in his new digs in Miami, and then R.J. Barrett dealing with the arrival of Brandon Ingram in Toronto. Those are 2 things I'm going to be watching very closely, because if Ingram plays, Barrett's going to take a hit one way or another. And then Wiggins was taking more shots than Steph Curry in Golden State a lot of the time. How's that going to go with Tyler Hero and Eric Spoelstra and Bam Adebayo and that whole crew? So, and what does that do to my guy Nikola Jovic too? So I'm interested in seeing what Miami's doing too.
I love it, Doc. I love it. Guys, NBA trade deadline recapped with your boys from a fantasy perspective. We're going to move on to a reality thing here briefly. But before we do move on, for everybody listening, thank you for watching the Fantasy NBA today. Rick Kamla, Hall of Famer Steve Alexander. And right now, if you're enjoying the show, the best place to do it is on the Fantasy NBA Today podcast feed, or if you want to interact with us live, check out the Sports Ethos YouTube channel. Look us up and never miss an episode. Okay. Doc, two main takeaways from the deadline. I guess this could be real life or fantasy. I went with a couple of real life takes. I'll give it. Let's play tennis with this one. I'll do one, you do one, I'll do one, you do one. I'll go first. Number one, Doc, the LA Lakers are the second best team in the West behind Oklahoma City after getting Mark Williams and, more importantly, Luka Doncic. They have arguably the best starting five in the league. LeBron and Luka, I have questions about fit. You have questions about fit. Charles Barkley has questions about fit. I have questions, but did you ask me if I think it will? I'm saying that sarcastically, Doc. I think it will work. Here's why. LeBron and Luka are basketball geniuses. They're not just all-time greats. These guys are geniuses. They're Picasso. They're Michelangelo. All right, they're at that level, and they're unselfish, Doc. They've got that Magic Johnson gene in them. They were born to pass and score. Both of them are a combo of Magic and Jordan in the same body. Obviously, Luka minus the athleticism. You get the point. You've got the badass, I can score 70-point guy, and then you've got the I'm a triple-double every night guy, and I want to dime everybody out, okay? Both in the same. So they're unselfish. And look, LeBron has always said, my favorite player in the league is Luka Doncic, okay? Luka idolizes LeBron James, all right? So I think there's going to be love there, and you need that. I believe they're going to fit. Mark Williams is a stud, and the world's about to find out. Reeves and Rui, their numbers are coming down, but they're still going to be good in reality for the Lakers. And J.J. Redick, Doc, has the LA Lakers 11 games over 500. 11. They're 30-19. That is working too. So it's the trades, all right? But to me, they have passed Houston and Memphis and Dallas and Minnesota and Denver and all of them. The Lakers are the second best team in the West.
I think for that to be true, Mark Williams damn well better be healthy, because there's no AD and Jackson Hayes can't get it done. So if Mark Williams is not out there protecting the rim every night, I don't know who else is going to do it. So that's, they need Mark Williams to be healthy for what you're saying to come to fruition. I think.
Totally agree.
I'm going to go ahead and go the opposite direction and say that Dallas is the second best team in the West.
Wow.
Starting lineup of Kyrie Irving, who's kind of a basketball genius. Klay Thompson, the ghost of Klay Thompson. Maybe he will play better without Luka there. PJ Washington having a great year. Anthony Davis having an MVP year. Daniel Gafford having a tremendous year. You talk about rim protection with Gafford and Davis. That's scary. Kyrie is just free to do his point guard thing now that he doesn't have to worry about Luka. He's going to go off the rest of the way. And maybe if Klay Thompson keeps not doing his thing, we'll see more Dante Exum or maybe Max Christie. And they still have Najee Marshall and Spencer Dinwiddie. So I think that trade for right now made Dallas really, really good. After this year is over, it's Lakers. Lakers all the way. And I still don't understand the trade. That's probably my number two, Rick, is the Luka trade still blows my mind. And the fact that all the good stuff happened 3 days up to a few hours before the actual trade deadline day. And all we got on trade deadline day was DeAndre Hunter, for the most part. So that was, it was disappointing that all the good stuff happened before we had our big marathon.
Our big marathon was still kick-ass, though. We had a great time.
It was awesome.
And
It was
smiles
awesome.
were
It
had
was
and
just
knowledge was
sad.
gained. But yeah, I mean, it was not the our show was fantastic. What the NBA provided us was not the best fireworks display in the history of the NBA. Clearly, you know why, Doc? It's because Woj sat it out, man. Woj is in retirement now, so the trade deadline was all quiet because it wasn't all Wojed up, bro. But all stupid comments aside, my last thing here, Doc, is I mean, what can you say about the Luka and Davis trade? We'll never forget it and where we were at that moment in time. I guess I have two more of these. Okay, number two for me after the Lakers. Hold on a second. $20 side bet. Who goes farther in the playoffs? Lakers or Mavs?
Yeah.
Done. Want to go higher?
No.
Should we? Okay, 20. Come on.
I have a gambling problem.
So do I. So let's go. All right, it's official. Andre, you heard it. Book it, okay? 1:10 p.m. Eastern on February 7th, 2025. $20 wager. And it's just because I think we both agree OKC's winning the West, right? This is the battle for second. So if the Mavs make the West Finals, Lakers don't, you win. Lakers make the West Finals, Mavs don't, you win. What if both teams lose in the second round, Doc? Do we then go about number of games? Like if the Mavs lose a 7-game series and the Lakers get swept and you win because your team went farther, I think that's probably a pretty good way to vet it.
I think it's just a push.
That's what Andre said. He said, then you were tied and no one wins.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. We'll do it that way. But $20, make you holla on, boy, I'm suddenly a Laker fan. How about that? I'm invested. All right. I got the Lakers number 2 in the West after the trades. Doc has Dallas. How about that for a little pull quote from our episode here? All right. Number 2, Golden State and Miami are still mediocre after the Butler and Wiggins swap. I'm not feeling either team. Like Doc's geeked now about Dallas and may have always been geeked about them. I'm now geeked about LA and I wasn't before all the trades. This hasn't changed my thought at all for Golden State. I don't believe they're going to make the play-in tournament. That is going to be Wemby and the Spurs. And Miami, I mean, they just are what they are. They're a very mediocre team. Okay, you've got 2 studs, you got a bunch of really good role players, and it's just not, they may be 3 games over 500, whatever it is, but they're still mediocre. And then finally, Doc, the Atlanta Hawks, your Atlanta Hawks are the next team to take the plunge into Tankville when they trade Trae Young this summer. They're going to go down the stretch here and try to win games, and they're going to lose and may fall out of the play-in tournament. Philly may get up above them. I don't know. I don't really care. But to me, Trae Young, especially with the crater this team is about to experience in the last 2 months of this season, Trae Young's going to be pissed, bro. So what am I doing? So I believe he's going to orchestrate his way out of Atlanta. I hope he does it in a classy way and not in a bratish way. But either way, I think Trae Young, it's going to be the summer of Trae Young. The draft of Trae Young, the summer of Trae Young. I believe that. Doc, they are going the wrong way. And you can't keep guys like Trae Young, one of the all-time great point guards, happy with this type of arrangement. So that's it, Doc. I believe the Hawks are going to be the next team to enter Tankville. They're going to trade Trae Young, get 5 first-round picks, a couple of young guys, and they're going to go 15-67 next year.
It's too late to tank.
They're not going to tank. They're going to try to win and lose. They're not going to tank. I'm saying next year they will be in Tankville. Next year. They're the next team. We know the tanking teams this year, right? I'm saying they're the next team to join the tank after they trade Trae Young.
I got you.
Not this year, though.
So
not saying it for this year.
I have two more comments when we're talking about this draft day takeaways. If I would have told you that Charlotte was going to deal Mark Williams for Dalton Connect, basically, before it happened, would you have thought there was a chance?
Maybe a 2% chance with all of the complaining that Anthony Davis has done about the about wanting to play the 4. So knowing that, if they stroked that trade and the Luka Davis trade never happened. It would have surprised me, but it wouldn't have shocked me.
I was just surprised to see Charlotte give up on their promising young big man that we just now finally got to see do his thing. Now, either that means they're just doing Charlotte stuff, the same Charlotte stuff that they always do, and they're always going to be terrible, or they think Dalton Connect's going to be really freaking good. So I was kind of shocked by that trade. That was surprising to me. That Mark Williams is gone. And then what is happening in Phoenix, dude? Toxic environment, toxic locker room. I don't think any of them like each other. KD wants out of there. Beal wants out of there. Like, what's that going to look like this summer?
Kevin Durant's going to be traded. They're not going to sign him to the extension. We'll get a Shams bomb that the Suns are exploring trades for Kevin Durant. And again, when the draft comes around, that's when that's going to really percolate and be hot. And then obviously when free agency begins and the whole business season of the NBA erupts, summer league style, that's going to be a huge thing. Pardon me. To me, it's going to be the summer of Trae Young, the spring or summer of Trae Young, and the spring or summer of Kevin Durant.
And
I guess I shouldn't say spring because the draft is in June. It's going to be the summer of Durant and the summer of Trae.
Is it possible that they could be traded for each other?
Yeah. Why not? Yeah. It depends. Does Atlanta just want draft capital back? You know what I mean? Do they just want to completely hit the reset button and get 4 or 5 first round picks, couple of pick swaps, 3 young players, some contractual garbage to make it work, and then they move on, right? Or do they want to trade a disgruntled Trae for Kevin Durant? Why would Kevin Durant want to go play for the Hawks if the cupboard is bare around him? He already has a bare cupboard around him in Phoenix. So possibly, but I would doubt it.
But is the cupboard bare in Atlanta? Because Jalen Johnson, because Dyson Daniels, because Onyeka Okongwu. It's not like Atlanta just has a trash team. Their team got worse yesterday when they traded DeAndre Hunter. But with Trae Young and Dyson and Jalen, they had a good team. So,
dude, they were fast becoming one of the funnest teams to watch in the NBA, and then Jalen Johnson blew a tire, and it completely took a pin and burst the bubble of the Hawks.
Andre points out the Hawks don't even have their draft pick. It's going to the Spurs.
Yeah, I mean, I know that. You know that. We all know that. My point, they're not tanking this year. When they trade Trae Young, they're going to tank. That's all I'm saying. They're going to lose down the stretch, but it is not going to be in a Utah Markkanen, Collins, Sexton, Clarkson, come on over here with me type of tank. What did I want to say on that? Yeah, I like the 3 players you're talking about. Jalen Johnson, Onyeka Okongwu, and Dyson Daniels. I can promise you one thing, okay?
And Zach Ricochet.
Is that the cupboard bare? Yes, if you want to win a championship. Okay, that's what I'm saying. If you put Kevin Durant, I'm going to write it down. Kevin Durant, Onyeka Okongwu, Jalen Johnson when he's ready, Dyson Daniels, and you mentioned, who's that other guy you mentioned? And Ricochet. Okay, Kevin Durant, Jalen Johnson at forward, Okongwu's your center, Dyson Daniels, and Ricochet. I mean, what are you winning with that? It's not the worst starting 5 in the league. That's a middle of the pack team to me. You also got to build in DNP games for Kevin Durant. I mean, he's gonna miss games. So I don't see it, Doc. I don't see it.
I do feel like the Hawks bringing Kevin Durant in at age 30, whatever, would be a very Hawky thing to do. We got Kevin Durant at the end of his career. I don't know. I just have a feeling Durant's going to end up in Atlanta. I don't know why.
All right, so let's move on here. It is Cam, it is Doc. I'm in for Aaron Brewski today. We are the Fantasy NBA today. Before we move into the second part of our show, please hit thumbs up. Hit that button for us. Subscribe to the Sports Ethos YouTube channel. If you're listening to us on the Fantasy NBA Today podcast feed, please subscribe and leave a 5-star review. All right, Doc, let's get into Thursday night slate here. We're not going to take it game by game. We got a couple of of little installments here for the people, but we always start with our Magic Man of the night. So who is your Magic Man from Thursday?
Oh, wow. Okay. You do yours first, Rick. We're switching it up today.
All right, my Magic Man from last night is Anthony Simons of the Portland Trail Blazers. Were you up late? I was up late watching on League Pass. I was actually, what would you call it? Horizontal in my bed, watching it on my phone. And I see Anthony Simons, shot clock running down. Big moment in the game. Under a minute to go. I think they were up 4 or 5 at the point. Missed that shot, and Sack comes down and scores, one possession game. Now we're in timeoutville and free throwville. Okay, no. Anthony Simons said, drive home safely with a step back three, cold-blooded style, in the face of DeMar DeRozan, and that was it. Kevin Calabro started rallying the troops to get out of there and go home. 30 points, 6 assists, 8 threes from Anthony Simons. Who said Anthony Simons only gets empty numbers? Who said that? You said that. You know you're out there and you said that. I mean, it's been empty the last couple of years because it's Portland. They've been tanking. But this dude's a baller, man. I've always liked Anthony Simons. Had a badass game last night. The Blazers have won 10 of the last 11 games. They're the hottest team in the NBA right now. They are 2.5 games behind 10th place Sacramento, the team they beat last night. That was a monster win for Portland. You lose that, you're what? They went in 3.5 back. You lose that, you're 4.5 back. You win it, you're 2.5 back. Unbelievably huge swing game for those two teams. I don't believe the Blazers are going to get to 10. I believe San Antonio is going to get to 10. But Golden State, Sacramento, San Antonio, and Portland are going to be super fun to watch down the stretch as they toggle for that 10th spot. So Anthony Simons is my Magic Man. Doc?
I'm going with the man that we've already talked about today. LeBron James had a monster game against Steph Curry and the Warriors to beat down Steve Kerr. Lakers won 120 to 112. LeBron had 42 points, 17 boards, 8 assists, a steal, a block, 6 3-pointers. I mean, it's just filthy, dude. I mean, he is an old man, and he's out there just balling. And this was the goodbye party for Austin Reeves and Jackson Hayes and Dorian Finney-Smith. And so we say goodbye to all those guys as we usher in Luka and Mark Williams, although is Mark Williams healthy enough to play? I don't even know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now we get to watch Luka and LeBron and see how that's going to work. But LeBron was amazing last night, and the reason they beat the Warriors.
Indeed, man. Indeed. All right, let's move on here. 3 standout performances and 1 disappointment from Thursday night in the NBA. Doc, I will run down mine here. And then we'll go to yours for your 3 standouts. Number 1 for me is Steph Curry. In that same game you were just talking about. Steph Curry, get ready to laugh, has taken 66 shots in the last 2 games. I'm not making this up. Last night, 37, 7, and 4, 1 block, 1 steal, 6 trays, 35 shots. 35. The game before, 32, 1, and 7, 1 block, 6 threes, 31 shots. Draymond is back. That's why this is happening. Steph can be Steph again. And this, look, he's not going to take 30-plus shots with Jimmy Butler in the fold. He's not. So enjoy this while it lasts. I just think those numbers are crazy. DeAndre Ayton, Doc, another standout for me last night. He outplayed Domantas Sabonis in a big way. He fouled him out. Okay, Ayton had 18 and 8, 4 assists and 2 blocks. Last 2 weeks, he's gone 20 and 11, 2 assists, 1 and 1 in the blocks and steals. No longer empty numbers from the artist previously known as a paper tiger, DeAndre Ayton. And then Naz Reid. Doc, look, this goodie line right here, my goodness, 15, 11, and 4, 2, 2, and 2 in the fantasy goal, block steals and threes. And it's got me, what is he going to get maxed out this summer? Okay, like he sure is looking like a max player to me. He'll probably get, the big man contract, 4 years, $30 million per year, $120 million, really good contract. But he's looking more maxy every day. Is he better than Julius Randle? You're damn right, and I'm a Julius Randle guy. Over the last 3 games, Doc, Reed has gone 30 points, 22 points, 15 points, and he's just absolutely killing it without Julius Randle. Who are your 3 standouts from last night?
Klay Thompson impressed me. 11 to 17 shots, 3 threes, 25 points, 4 assists, 3 boards. They beat Boston without Luka, although they haven't had Luka in weeks, so nothing surprising there. But big game from Klay Thompson, man. If Klay can just start doing that on a regular basis, Dallas is going to be really hard to beat, I think. Najee Marshall was also good in that game. And then welcome back, Peyton Pritchard. 9 of 15, 21.6 boards, 6 assists, 3 triples. He's still probably leading in 6th man of the year voting, but Malik Beasley is still coming after him, I think. And then for my Clippers, in a losing effort, I was just glad to see James Harden have 22, 6 and 10, 4 triples, played a good game. I love the fact that my Clippers are still all doing their thing, despite the fact that Kawhi Leonard is playing 30 minutes a night now. So Harden, Norm Powell, Zubac, Derek Jones, still doing the same stuff they were doing before, but now Kawhi Leonard's out there balling too.
I had that thought, Doc, last night watching the game and then looking at the box score. And all these box scores, they're the same. Powell goes off, Harden goes off, Zubac double-doubles, and Kawhi has a really just solid overall stat line. Harden, Powell, I did fear a little bit of a zap with Kawhi Leonard there. It has not happened at all. And I don't think that Bogey Bogdanovic going there is going to zap them at all. I think that's going to zap Amir Coffey. And with all due respect to him, who cares, right? He's, kind of in streamer mode on a light Thursday night. That's kind of how I look at him. My one disappointment, Doc, actually 2, and I'll just get an injury out here real quick. Miles Turner suffered a concussion against the Clips, took an inadvertent forearm to the face from Ben Mathurin, and so he's going to miss some time here. Hopefully it's, about a week, NFL style. You miss about a week and you come back. But Thomas Bryant's a guy you need to look at now. He had 12 and 10 with a block last night. So just disappointing that Miles Turner got hurt. We shout him out. But like the actual disappointment from like the WTF of it all is Jason Tatum. Okay, I mean, he absolutely sucked last night, and Boston absolutely sucks at home, Doc. This is getting weird. All right, Tatum last night, 17, 4 and 4, 5 of 12 from the field, 29 minutes. Why did he play 29 minutes? Because it was such a savage blowout. That's why. I don't like the way Boston is playing at home, Doc. There are a multitude of teams that aren't even in the championship fast lane like they are, who are way better at home. All right. But Boston never loses on the road. They're one of the best road teams I've ever seen. They're 20 and 6 on the road. This is getting weird. Okay. To me, Doc, this speaks to complacency, speaks to boredom. It speaks to when do the playoffs begin. But you know what, Doc, when you go back, maybe not last year, because I think they lost 7 games the whole play. No. Oh, God, I don't have their playoff record in front of me right now. But they stormed through the playoffs last year. The year before and the year before, they were weird at home. Okay, even in the playoffs. Remember Philly that one year with Harden and Embiid, like Harden had those big games, right? And they're winning in Boston. They lose home games, and it's weird. And to me, Doc, you can't mess around with that this year with Cleveland, with New York. Maybe there's, Milwaukee, now that they've galvanized with Kuzma, Kevin Porter Jr. To me, you've got to be dominant at home, man. You've got to instill fear. Wow, we're going to Boston tonight. Dude, nobody's thinking that right now. Look at the numbers. You have a very good chance to go to Boston and win.
I never draft Jason Tatum in fantasy because it's nights like that, and he doesn't do anything. He does everything well, but nothing great, kind of thing. And I feel like for my first round pick, I need to hit a home run. I don't know if you can win a fantasy championship with Jason Tatum as your number 1 pick. My two disappointments came from the same game. You mentioned it. Domantas Sabonis only getting up 6 shots for the Kings in a loss to the Portland Trailblazers. DeMar DeRozan shot at 16. Keegan Murray shot at 10. Zach LaVine shot at 19 times. Malik Monk shot it 20 times. Somebody's going to take a hit every night in Sacramento with all these guys needing the ball in their hands. So that's something to watch. And then Scoot Henderson only got 22 minutes, 5 points, 8 assists. Thank goodness he had those 8 assists. Now that Portland's going for it and trying to get into the playoffs, Scoot is no longer a guaranteed silly season hero. But the good news is he is a big part of what they're doing. So hopefully they keep playing him.
Yeah, I just looked at him critically yesterday, Doc, and was like, "Am I still in here with Scoot?" I am. He's kind of moving towards the roster bubble here, but I'm still hanging in there with him. And you know how ADD I am with the waiver wire, and I'm still hanging in there with Scoot. And in points leagues, when you factor in the threes, the assists, the steals, he's still doing well in points leagues. I'm hanging in there with him. All right, a couple of must-add or buy low, sell high targets from last night's action. Let me give you a couple, Doc. On the must-add side, Max Christie is turning my opinion around, and I've been asleep on him and all that kind of stuff. When PJ Washington comes back, I'm very curious to see how this works, but PJ's out right now. Max Christie in 2 games with Dallas. Last night, 15, 6, and 4. Nice. 1 block, no steals, 30 minutes off the bench. Game before, 15, 9, and 3. Okay, I like it. 1 steal, 32 minutes off the bench. My man is rocking 31 minutes off the bench per game in the last 2, in his only 2 games in Dallas. That tells me they traded for him for a reason. He is handpicked. Nico Harrison likes him. Jason Kidd's going to play him. Okay, I believe that even when PJ Washington comes back, Christie is going to be ahead of Najee, Dinwiddie, Exum, and Kessler Edwards in the pecking order for minutes. There's a priority to play him. Prove to Dallas fans we did not screw up this trade. Look, we got Max Christie out of it, okay? So there's a lot of incentive to play him. And then, Doc, you mentioned Austin Reeves earlier. I have a sell high on Austin Reeves. Clearly, he's not, you don't dump him. I mean, the numbers are going to be pretty good when Luka and LeBron are up and cooking, but they're not going to be what they are right now. There's an obvious value hit coming here. So make some offers right now, okay? Right now, before the Luka debut on Saturday against Indiana, okay? Reeves right now is 68th in basketball monster value. Trade him 1 for 1, write these guys down, okay? I'll start with the 3, the top guys, and then there's like a second tier of this. I want you to trade Austin Reeves straight up right now for Amen Thompson, Malik Monk, and Darius Garland. Okay? See if you can get one of those 3 guys for Austin Reeves. I believe Malik Monk is good to go. He's got the ball in his hands. He's the point guard. It all starts with him. And we've already seen it with DeRozan, with LaVine. He's still cooking, man. Okay? So Amen, Monk, and Garland. And then if you get no's on that, then downshift to DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, and Norman Powell. Okay, I would rather have DeRozan, LaVine, and Powell down the stretch than Austin Reeves. So there you go, Doc. I got a must-add and a sell high for you.
I'm gonna go quick because we're running out of time, bro. But I think Tari Eason should be rostered. 5 more steals for Houston last night. Cam Whitmore scored 16. He should probably be rostered. Empty stat line. And Naz Reid. If he's available in your league, he should not be. And then as far as the sell high goes, Anthony Edwards is on a heater. Might be a good time to move him. Steph Curry also finally has played well in a couple games in a row, although he's got new life with Jimmy Butler being there. His buy low window is probably closed, and I'm probably not selling high on Steph Curry. But Anthony Edwards is hot enough that I think you can trade him for whatever you want right now.
Yeah, you definitely could. So do you have an ATS pick or a prop bet for tonight, Doc, in the Friday night slate?
I have not done my prep work for Friday night yet.
All
I'm
right,
sure I
so
will have one.
I have a couple for you here, Doc, and then we'll say goodbye. Well, we got some streamers here too. All right, hold on a second. Okay. All right, let's get into this, man. My ATS, Doc. I have the Washington Wizards at home against the Cleveland Cavaliers. I'm betting metaphorically money here. This is just a tout, but I'm 16 and 13 ATS. I keep track of this. Okay, I'm trying to be right all the time. Doc, do you hear what I'm saying? I'm taking Washington over Cleveland. I am taking Washington plus 17 and a half points. Dude, this is like an NFL. This is like the Chiefs playing the Browns. Okay, this is crazy. Doc, it's in Washington. What do you think the Cavaliers were doing last night? They were partying their faces off. Washington, D.C. is one of the best party cities in the NBA, especially for the players, okay? And they're not taking Washington seriously. And Washington has all these young, hungry guys playing well. Oh, by the way, Doc, Washington's won 3 games in a row. Did you know that? Okay, but this comes down to there's no way it's 17 and a half. It's way too many points. I'm taking 17 and a half with Washington tonight. Wish me luck. All right, I got a couple of prop bets for you too here, Doc. Keon Johnson against the Miami Heat in Brooklyn, over 13 and a half points. You can go ahead and put this one on the board, folks. And I would actually play I guess it's an alternate bet of Keon Johnson to score 18 or more, or I guess more than 18. So he's got to get to 19 for this to win, but that's plus 225. I think Keon Johnson's going to be at 20 tonight. So why not? Plus 225, you more than double your money if he gets to 18 plus. And then Doc, Tyrese Maxey. We got to ride the hot hand here, man. 7 straight games with 30 or more. He's gone 31, 43, 30, 42, 34, 33, 31. All right. So if it's at 29 and a half or 30 and a half, play the over on the Tyrese Maxey point prop. He's on the road. That's where stars step up. They're in Detroit, and Detroit does not have a defensive stopper that can track Tyrese Maxey. So those are my actionable investment decisions for the night.
I like Tyler Hero over 22 and a half. At the Nets. Nets aren't going to be playing defense on Tyler Hero. It's going to be Tyler and Keon scoring all the points they want. So I kind of like that one. I'm just going to go with that for now.
Okay. All right. So Doc, I got some streamers set up here for tonight. I got a few of them. And okay, so here we go. Let me give you a couple here. I think Jeremy Sohan's a good streamer tonight. Depending, it should be like kind of a big night, but if you're in a deep league, you need a guy off waivers just to fill a spot. That's kind of what we're doing here. Jeremy Sohan is at Charlotte tonight. Last 2 games, he has gone, these are his averages, 14, 6, and 2 with a steal in only 24 minutes. Could be a blowout with San Antonio crushing them. That would lead to more minutes for a bench player. So I like Sohan as a streamer tonight. I like Moussa Diabate also again, well, in the same game. Other side, last game, Diabate went 10 and 13 in 23 minutes. Is Nurkic ready to play yet or not, right? Even if Nurkic plays, I think Diabate is going to be a nice little hover around a dub guy. The Washington trio, Doc, of Keyshawn George, Bub Carrington, and Corey Kispert. Okay, they all played well in the previous game. I actually like them to cover the spread against Cleveland tonight, and these are the 3 main reasons why. I like Zachary Sachet as a streamer at home against Milwaukee tonight. He's coming off a dreadful 6-point game. Bounce back factor. Before that, he went 30, 17, and 17. I like Reece Sachet. I like Keon Johnson and Jovic as streamers from the Miami-Brooklyn game. I like Isaiah Collier at Phoenix. And I like Ausar Thompson in the Detroit and Philly game as streamers tonight. Ausar Thompson's coming, Doc. He's coming.
Next year.
No. I think Ausar Thompson's going to have a game tonight. I think tomorrow he's going to be a hot waiver wire guy. I think he's going to have a nice goodie game tonight. I do. It's Philly. Philly sucks. I think Ausar's going to play well tonight.
Yeah, I'm going to have to disagree with you there. Yeah, I'm off the Auxerre train for this year. Next year, I'll hop back on. I'm out. Um, my streamers are Nick Smith Jr. there in Charlotte, Ty Jerome in Cleveland, and then Keontae and Isaiah Collier uh, in Utah.
I like it, Doc.
I'm scared. I'm scared. Bub Carrington. He's let us down now since October, right? And it's now February. Like, silly season is here. Like, Bub either needs to start doing it right now or it's not going to happen. I actually have more faith in Keyshawn right now than I do Bub. And nobody's talking about Justin Champagnie. Kyle Kuzma's gone. Justin Champagnie is a guy that we all need to be keeping an eye on.
I agree, but to me, it's about keeping an eye on him. I can, Doc, right now, people can go get Bub Carrington and Keyshawn George off their waiver wire right now. They're a way higher priority than Justin Champagnie. Corey Kispert would be a higher priority than Justin Champagnie. Justin Champagnie right now, he's behind Kispert in the bench pecking order, right? So that would make him essentially their seventh man. So I agree. Keep your eye on him. But Keyshawn George and Bub Carrington, and I mean, Keyshawn George the other night, Doc, 1 block, 1 steal, 5 threes, right? This is a goody guy. Look at the game log for Keyshawn George, guys. You're going to see a lot of what Cam likes, fantasy gold, the combos of steals, blocks, and threes. So anything else for the people here, Doc, before we say bye-bye, and then we're going to start taking some questions here on the other side.
I think we're good, man. We covered a lot of stuff, I feel like.
We most certainly did. Guys, a couple of things. Go to our website, sportsethos.com, and subscribe. We would appreciate that. Subscribe to us on our YouTube channel, Fantasy NBA Today. Leave us a 5-star review. And download the Sports Ethos app. You see it right there. It's free. It's absolutely amazing. We've got player blurbs in NBA, NFL, MLB. They're amazing. We do it better than anybody else. Okay, did I mention it's free? Go to your favorite app store and download the Sports Ethos app. For Hall of Famer Steve Alexander, for Andre Lemouche, our great producer, and all of you, I am Rick Kamla. We appreciate you all so much. I'll be seeing you later today with Mike Passador with the Week 16 look ahead. And like I said, stick around. We're going to hang around here almost like after a concert backstage. Hey, come hang out with us here. We're going to be taking some questions. This episode right here has been presented by Bet Online. See you soon. Okay. JD says, Doc, should I drop Ware or Jovic to pick Vassell? Follow-up question, Vassell or Eason to pick up? Vassell. Vassell is, to me, got the best rest of season value of any of those guys. Oh, boy. This must be like a 10-team league, Doc. If we're dropping Ware, I don't want to drop Ware.
I don't want to drop Ware or Jovic. Really, but I think I'd drop Jovic to pick up Vassell.
Would you drop Ware to pick up Vassell?
I'm not dropping Ware right now. I don't have the wherewithal to drop Ware.
I'm dropping Ware for Vassell, dude. It depends on, are you loaded with bigs on your team? Do you need a wing? Do you need, the stat line that I don't know that. I don't know the construction of his team. But, and I certainly am not going to tell you all to drop Khalil Ware. I think he's a hold in almost every league, but you're telling me Devin Vassell is on waivers. I think you got to go get Devin Vassell. All right, so we differ on that. Vassell or Eason, rest of season, Doc. I would say Vassell on that. Vassell or Eason, rest of season.
I'll go Vassell.
All right.
Yeah, Khalil Ware had 13 rebounds, 0 blocks, and 0 points on Wednesday in 19 minutes. So I think that's probably why people are like, ooh, he's gone. It's over. But the game before that, he had 17 points and 12 boards. So there's going to be inconsistency, but until Khalil Ware disappears for 3 games in a row, I'm not dropping him.
Nikki Gogol says, worst player on my team is Ware. Buzella somehow got dropped. Who do you like more rest of season?
Oh,
I got to go Ware on that one.
over Matas. It's Buzella's season.
It's also Khalil Ware season. Matas Buzelis may get caught up in the Billy Donovan soup, Doc. They did not trade Vooch. They still have Pat Williams. They still have Jalen Smith. Remember, Lonzo Ball was rested, and that's why Buzelis started. Look, I'm not trying to, downgrade here Buzelis. We love Buzelis, but there still are question marks about, role and minutes. And Ware's locked into that starting five, bro.
True. It also depends on your team and your team build and what kind of league you're playing in. If you've got a bunch of centers, but you really need a power forward type guy or a forward, then maybe you go get Buzelis. It depends on your needs.
Let's see here. Budwin Kirkwick says, what's Alfred's hair situation these days? Dude, last I saw, he did not have the duck bill anymore.
No,
he just has like a regular haircut. So I don't, he doesn't have remember it was all this when he was early in his career. I was like, how the hell can this guy see? No wonder he never could shoot the rock. He always had hair in his eyes.
I love the old Alfred Payton hair was my favorite. I loved it. Look at this comment, Rick.
Budwin says, just picked up Makovich, LOL. Never heard of him before Kamla started talking. He. See? Dude.
He's already added in 3 of my 4 Yahoo leagues. And the other one has like a 2-day waiting process to try to get him. So
get on Makovich, man. Get on Makovich. The next game for the Pels is Saturday night. I literally can't wait for that Pelicans game. And they suck. It's weird. We're fantasy guys. We're a little crazy that way. Nico Leon says, my faves, all I look forward to on my day off. We appreciate that, Nico. By the way, Reed, I believe that's, he put needs. So I believe that's Naz Reed. Or John Collins rest of season. That's a no-brainer. That's Naz Reed.
Yep. Agreed.
John Collins about to get shut down. Yo, see if you can still trade him. Legit. Offer like John Collins for PJ Washington. See if they bite on that. John Collins for a Derek White. See if they bite on that. Is Nick Smith Jr. a pickup? Doc, I'm all jammed up on Nick Smith and Connect. I'm jammed up, dude, because of them together and because LaMelo Ball is questionable for tonight's game. I'm all jammed up on those guys, dude. You're going to give them a better answer. I'm kind of staying away right now. I did not pick up Dalton Connect. I went with the Keyshawn Georges and the Bub Carringtons and the Buzelises and the Keon Johnsons. I have not picked up Dalton Connect.
You mean Nick Smith, right? Dalton Connect.
I mean, Nick Smith's, I'm saying, because Connect, I'm saying I'm out on both of them right now. I'm intrigued. I'm definitely intrigued, Doc. I don't hate them. I'm going for other guys here.
I am in on both of them. If Nick Smith and Dalton Connect are available, I'm picking them up. I'm cutting Keon Ellis and Jaime Jaquez, and I'm picking those dudes up. I feel like that's all I've talked about is Nick Smith the last 2 days. But I'm very excited to see what happens in their first game together. I hope that Nick Smith and Dalton Connect both go off and Charlotte wins. That would be fun. But yeah, it all depends on when they're shutting LaMelo down. I really don't think Elfrid Payton's going to come in and ruin this thing, but we'll find out soon enough. But I am in on Smith right now.
I know. Okay, so mark that down. We have Again, I'm really intrigued. If you want to go pick up Connect and or Nick Smith, do it. I'm not mad at you. They're good pickups right now. There's a lot of good pickups right now. I'm just going with other guys that I feel like I can trust their role. I feel like I get a better read on how this is going to look the rest of the year. Just one guy over here. All right, Arthur Wynn, doing my best here, says, is Vooch and Cam Johnson a drop? Vooch, most definitely not. I would not drop Cam Johnson yet either, Doc. He just came back. I think last I saw Brooklyn had 17 wins, so they kind of don't understand the tanky assignment here. I don't know. I wouldn't be dropping Cam Johnson right now.
I mean, if you've sat on him through this injury and he's finally back, you hang on to him. And then when he gets hurt again, because he probably will, then you drop him. But Now is probably not the time to drop Cam Johnson. And
I would shop
Vooch.
him a little bit. Cam Johnson to me always tends to be a little overrated. I think people really like Cam Johnson. I'm not the hugest Cam Johnson guy. Josh King says, "Hello, gentlemen. I'm in first place. Congratulations. In a 12-team, 9-cat Roto league. Was just offered Joel Embiid to send away Dyson Daniels. Embiid is scary, but is this a must-accept trade?" Doc, I would say, first of all, I need to know where you rank in the steals category. Josh, if you are still listening and you can give me that, because you're in first place. Okay, so let's say this, like you're cooking it. I'm not a roto guy, but I do know roto. Okay, let's say you're cooking in a bunch of categories, right? But you're middle of the pack in steals. All right, so at that point, like you're already first place with Joel Embiid giving you virtually nothing all year. So I would get out of Embiid to get into Dyson Daniels, but only if you felt like you were kind of sort of going to lock up this league by getting the hike and steals that Dyson Daniels is going to give you.
Wait. This dude already has Daniels. He's being offered Embiid for his Daniels.
So I guess I said that wrong, but my point is it is a player for player thing. And if yeah, I guess he wouldn't be acquiring to help his steals. All right, good point. I kind of juxtaposed that and screwed that up. I'm doing my best here, but I don't know. Okay, Doc, I'm going to say no because the dude is in first place right now with Dyson Daniels. Why break it? Why break it why fix it if it's not broke? How about you?
Do you remember last season? Joel Embiid was on fire. It was later in the year. He was cruising, all right? And at some point, yeah, he went down on January 30th. And we had a redraft league in this charity league I was in for helping little kids learn how to play fantasy basketball at ESPN, and I was the expert to help this kid draft his team. We took Joel Embiid because he had that 70-point, 18 rebound game, scored 30 or more in like 10, 15 straight games, looked unstoppable, and we took Joel Embiid, and I'm like, hell yeah, brother, we're gonna win this thing. And like 2 days later, he was gone until April, just gone. And if you're already in first, trade Dyson Daniels. It says he has a 50 steal cushion, and Embiid could boost his other categories. Trade Dyson Daniels, but get somebody you know is going to play every day, man. Embiid is so risky that you can be without Dyson Daniels, then be without Embiid, and then lose your steals lead and lose the league. I get it. It's tempting, but I don't think I could do it.
Here's what I would do. I would shop Dyson Daniels. I wouldn't even respond to this trade offer yet. I would ghost it and leave it out there, and I would make other offers for Dyson Daniels of more reliable studs that are going to actually help you run to the tape as opposed to the question mark that is Embiid. Marco says, thank you guys for the prop bets. You guys have been on a roll. Thank you so much, Marcos. Appreciate that. Daniel Pacelli says, fellas, panic time for a D'Lo shutdown in Brooklyn, or is Simmons' impending move a sign of hope? Now, D'Lo's going to be shut down.
Your two favorite guys.
Yeah, exactly. Daniel, all the guys that we've talked about. Okay, let's just run it down here. I would rather have Makovich than D'Lo. I'd rather have Keyshawn George than D'Lo. I'd rather have Bub Carrington than D'Lo. I would rather have his teammate Keon Johnson. I would rather have Matas Buzelis. Doc, would you rather have Ty Jerome, Nick Smith, Dalton Connect, Zach Resache, and Matas Buzelis than D'Lo?
Yes.
So there you go. What we're saying, our friend Daniel, is that the hot guys on waivers right now are doing a lot more for us now and rest of season than D'Lo. Thank you for the question, sir. Cholo says, would you drop Diabate for Makovich? 14-team, 9-cat. Yes. Yes, I would. Because I'm worried about the Nurkic thing. I think Nurkic and Diabate are going to be a one of those annoying running back by committee joints in the NFL, right? I think it's going to be a timeshare at the 5, Doc.
I picked up Diabate yesterday, and I was all fired up about it. I'm like, he's the only center there. I win. And now they have Nurk. I still think Diabate is going to be okay. I'd rather have. Well, see, I don't know enough about Matkovich. I think
threes.
But if you want Matkovich,
brings
you got
threes, dude. 3 to the head, mellow style, bro. Diabate ain't hitting threes, bro.
No, but he's blocking shots and getting rebounds. I'm going to go with Rick's vibe and say go get Matkovich, but I'm hanging on to Diabate where I got him.
Super quick here. I got to get Andre Lemouche. He is the king of international basketball. Okay, he used to play international basketball. Andre, here, real quick. Are you into Matkovich? Are you buying all of this Matkovich conversation here? Before we get out of here, for the people who have lingered late with us backstage with Cam and Doc. All right, he's not answering me. So here's the thing, guys. He says, as a long-term NBA player, no. Oh. Wow, it's a short-term hot run. He said, sure. Okay, all right. We'll meet in the middle then, I guess. I guess I'm the highest one here on Matkovich. But guys, really appreciate you joining us. I've been in for Brew here today. Brew will be back next Friday with the great Dr. A. Really appreciate all the questions. Appreciate all the eyes on us. Again, download the Sports Ethos app. It's completely free. Subscribe to us on sportsethos.com. For Doc, for Andre, I'm Cam. We'll see you all soon.